You won't learn! You won't learn!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel, and I am coming to you from the great state of Georgia. Had to come up here real quick, man, for a family situation and everything. Don't worry, everything is straight. Everything is good. But I just wanted to come to you guys with week 6, if you will, game 5, Russ's Rant, with the current state of this North Carolina program, dude. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. If you couldn't tell by the reaction video after Clemson came into Chapel Hill and absolutely whooped our ass 38-10. It was 28-3 after the first quarter. I think Cade Klubnik had 233 yards of total offense or something just outlandish like that, dude, after the first quarter. Just an ass whooping from the get-go. I'm upset. I'm pissed off, dude, and I'm pissed off from the top down. I'll be the first one to tell you, dude, that I completely signed off on all of this. I'm just as complicit as anyone. And I'm going to go ahead and start things off by saying I am in no way, shape, or form jumping ship. However, I think that it's pretty imperative that we got to be serious about this situation that we're in right now. And we got to talk about it. I've heard some people talk about, well, Carolina might need to just cut their losses. And, for all intents and purposes, we got to get rid of stinking Bill Belichick at the end of the season. That's impossible. All right. It's going to be a buyout. If I'm not mistaken, we'd owe him 4 years, $40 million worth of money. That's money that we honestly probably do not stinking have. So that is not a viable option. We're kind of stuck the way that this contract has been built out, if I'm not mistaken. So we're in it to win it as far as that's concerned. That should be far from your mind. It's not a viable option. We're going to be with Bill Belichick until he decides that he no longer wants to be the head coach at the University of North Carolina. So that doesn't seem to be a viable option, so we got to talk about what we got, okay? One of the things that I signed off on was the fact that I thought that he would bring discipline. I thought that he would bring some stability. I thought that he would bring some accountability. I thought that he would bring good coaching, good in-game decisions. We'd get some really good, second half adjustments based off of what we were seeing in the first half. I thought that we would see individuals that weren't performing well, get pulled for guys that were going to come in and, play hard, play with pride and passion. I don't think that we've seen any of those things. And one of the scapegoats that I've heard, repeatedly seemingly is, we got 70 new guys and it takes time to build a program and all this stinking jazz. And I'm tired of getting gaslit about it, to be completely honest with you. I'm shooting from the heart on this, okay? I'm tired of getting gaslit about the process. Dickert comes over from Washington State. He's got the Wake Forest Demon Deacons humming right now, okay? That was, a 3 or 4 win team last year? Dickert comes in, completely changes the offense, right? They're no longer using that slow mesh. Completely changes the offense. They're not having any issues, all right? Manny Diaz comes into Duke, wins 9 games in year 1. They just got finished going out to the stinking West Coast and, reminding Cal that they're in a real stinking conference by beating the brakes off of the stinking Bears at their place. NC State hasn't had any issues. They're pissed at Dave Doran because he can't get them past 9 stinking wins. And here we are at Carolina, 2-3 right now with the greatest coach of all time. And we're being gaslit about how this takes time. This is a process. Here's the issue that I take with that, okay? When you really dive deep into all of the stinking weeds that are around this thing. Yes, you missed the fall window because you were hired late. I get that. That's kind of your little alibi. I get it. But for all intents and purposes, man, this roster is the one that you built. Okay, you and Lombardi. Lombardi obviously is mostly, if I'm not mistaken, the guy. But you built this roster. You built it. 70 new guys. I got it. Guess what? Scott Frost brought in 69 guys down to UCF. We played them. And they beat the brakes off of us, 34-9? How come Scott Frost didn't have to say to his people, oh man, it's going to take time? And listen, they're losing some football games too. But they just lost 27-20 out at Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. They just lost to Kansas State. They're not getting the brakes beat off of them, dude. And that's what I take the most offense to. If you would have told me before the season that Carolina would be 2-3 at this point, I wouldn't necessarily been like, that's unreasonable, you're crazy. I would have understood where you were coming from. But it's the way that we're getting smoked. I think we've been outscored at home, not just home, against P4 competition, like 120-something to 33. Anytime we play a team with a stinking pulse, we're getting pulverized, pummeled. And it's ridiculous, man. And you can only use we don't have the personnel. It's going to take time. Now all of a sudden this has turned into, it's actually going to take us 2 to 3 years. I had some boomer tell me a couple of days, or actually right after the game. It seems like it's been a couple of days for some reason. Somewhere after the game, this is what's wrong with your generation, right? You're just so impatient, basically. You're just so impatient. How am I impatient? How am I being impatient? Somebody explain that to me, okay? How am I being impatient when I'm just watching us get dog walked week after stinking week? How is that impatient? Is it too much for me to ask you to be competitive in a competition? Is that too much to ask? I mean, what is wrong with people? I really don't know, man. I know this is going to hit a little bit home with some of you guys, and this is one of them videos that'll probably shake a couple of the loose pine cones off the stinking tree. But goodness gracious, man, how am I being unreasonable here? We're not even being competitive. You need to have some patience. I'd have patience if we were being competitive. What I don't have patience for is non-competitiveness. All this started off as something that had the potential to be something great. And I'm not even saying that we might not eventually get there, okay? I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, all right? But what I do expect is for you to, in some way, shape, or form, just be a stinking Tar Heel, man. Put your heel on the line and defend your turf. Goodness gracious, man. Have a spine. Have a set. You know what I'm talking about. It's crazy, man. I've been a stinking Tar Heel fan for over 30 stinking years, bro. And some of you have been Tar Heel fans for 40, 50 years, and you're getting on me about being impatient. I'm sorry that I'm pissed off that my football team is not being competitive. It's not the wins and losses. It's the lack of competition. Is that too much to stink and ask? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Am I being unreasonable? Are we talking about stinking football here? Or is this the cheerleading competition? It's ridiculous, man. It is absolutely stinking ridiculous for anybody to just sit there and act like, what we're witnessing right now is, it's just part of the process. How come it's not a part of Wake Forest process? How come it's not part of Manny Diaz process? How come it wasn't part of stinking Doran at NC State's process? Hell, Mac Brown came in here and went 7-6 in his first year with a bowl win. But this is part of the process. Man, get that crap out of here, bro. Look, I'm pissed off. I'm not going to lie. This is not what we signed up for. And like I said, I'm not jumping ship. But like any bad employee, bro, when you suck at your job, okay, excuse the bluntness here, you need to be called out for it. I don't care what your pedigree is. I don't care what you've done in the past. I don't care if you're a multi-billion-dollar former CEO of a company. If you take the reins of my company and then you're running it into the dirt, guess what? Hey, bud. Hey. Just give me a second. That's part of the process. No. I need to see something that's tangible here that says that you need to be here, that we're paying you what we're paying you in order to make this, a respectable stinking football program. How come as soon as you take the reins, we've lost all manner of respectability? And I got people in here talking about, hey, you need to have some stinking patience. No, you need to get off of your ass and start holding people's feet to the stinking fire, man. It's ridiculous. 120-33 against teams in similar stinking situations, i.e. UCF. They're not using the excuse of, it takes time. That's my point, dude. That's my point. Why are we the only ones that gotta be stinking patient? Like I said, man, I know a lot of you guys aren't used to this. You're not used to a stinking man talking, being real, keeping it 100, keeping it a buck. I don't know what to stinking tell you, man. I'm a Tar Heel through and through, bro, and I'm sick of this getting our ass handed to us, bro. That is not the Tar Heel way. I don't care what you say. I don't even care what happens in the future, bro. We are arguably the worst Power 4 team in the country. It's not supposed to be that way. And if you think that this is just part of the process, I would ask you to stop being an ostrich, pull your head out of the stinking dirt, and start holding some stinking feet to the fire, man. I can't be the only one. I'm not being unreasonable here. It is not unreasonable for me to ask you to stinking do something to be competitive. That is not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable, Tar Heel Nation. I'm pissed off. It's not the fact that we're 2-3. It's how that 2-3 looks. We've been terrible against stinking crappy competition, and we've been even worse against P4 teams. Now, as I walk through here and I enjoy the rest of my day with my family and everything, I don't give two rips if people laugh or mock or anything like that. But I'm telling you right now, the college football world is laughing and mocking North Carolina. And I'm not happy about that. It pisses me off because it's not how this was supposed to stinking be. Once again, I can't say this enough. Am I jumping ship? Nope. Even if I wanted to, bro, we're stuck in this thing because of the way the contract is stinking built. So we might as well stinking dig in deep. But because the contract is built the way that it's built, and we've invested so much time, energy, and money into this stinking staff, if you will, especially the head, you damn well best believe that your boy is going to be stinking holding feet to the daggum fire, dude. Why? Because we're paying you a lot of money, and there is no reason in the world that should equate getting our stinking asses handed to us every single Saturday. So you guys let me know what you think about this down in the stinking comment section. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Is your boy onto something? Or am I being impatient? Am I just some stinking, Gen X guy that's just lacking patience? Am I being unreasonable? Am I being a bad fan? Goodness gracious, man. Anyway, love you guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Go Heels.